Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. What is inside is the piece and what is outside are the pieces. We are all struggling with the pieces to get the piece inside. It is something like trying to attain unity by talking on diversity. It is something like trying to attain peace by running after the pieces. And this is what our life has been. If we ask to ourselves to write our own autobiography in one sentence, what we will write? We have been fulfilling our desires. Period. Stop. Other than that, what we have done? As a child, balastavat krida saktaha, tarunastavat taruni raktaha, vruddhastavat chinta saktaha, parame brahmani kopina saktaha. In childhood, we were wanting the toys and the games to play. I want this, I want that. Then the childhood toys become outdated because we are now no more children, we are teenagers. And when we enter that area of our life, then our area of enjoyment and fulfilling the desire changes from the small little things to big things. A tricycle is not enough, a bicycle is not enough. Now I want a mobike. And that too with the huge noise making machine. So when I go around, everybody should, oh, who has gone? See? So when we are in our youthful time, then tarunastavat taruni saktaha, then we keep running after the boys or the girls. What for, that we don't know, but we want that. And then that time also passes and then we get married and then the kids come. Then again there are only one thing, that desire fulfillment. Children should be like that, they should be like that, blah, 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 blah. That time also passes and the old age comes. And then there also, I want this thing, I want that thing. In short, our whole life has been fulfilling our desires without recognizing that fulfilling desires through the pieces of the world can never lead to fulfillment in life. What we are essentially seeking is fulfillment. Fulfillment is peace. Last 4 days we were moving. First we went to this Brunei island, and from there we went to some 2-3 places, Strand or like that. And the tragedy that we have gone through was with the food, the wretched food. This bread and butter and no Indian spicy food. So when we came, and then our friend told that Swamiji, you will have the food in the saffron. So we straight away went there and they prepared the food for us. And normally I take 2 chapatis. Today I took 4. And whatever was given, such a sumptuous meal, so that has not filled our stomach, but that has given us fulfillment. See the difference? And when there is fulfillment, what we did, we came home in no time, immediately horizontal. For next 2-3 hours, sound sleep. The whole house was shaking. What happened? Two Swamis are sleeping. Fulfillment gives you peace within. See? You may run around and see, oh, how beautiful, how nice. How long are you going to watch? Ah, sea is beautiful, the trees are wonderful. Next, stomach. So unless we become self-oriented, there cannot be peace in life. We are pieces-oriented, running from this thing to that thing. And we have never learned from our own experiences of life. You must have been doing with your kids these days, everything is digital. Children are also digital. And mothers also have become digital. You know how a digital mother scolds the digital child? One digital mother scolded the digital child. Come on, Bill, I have given you birth. You are not downloaded, okay? Because everything is downloaded, isn't it? The child is not downloaded, it is given birth. So, we are taking our children to get these electronic digital games. You buy them and then they are sitting backside and constantly. They are not ready to talk to you or do anything. And when they come home, by then they have already played the game, it has become outdated. Then another TV advertisement, another game, another. How many things we keep on accumulating in our life, but we have never learned by gathering the pieces, peace is never attained. This we have to learn. It will not come from nowhere. See, this habit of accumulation, collection, parigraha, is the one which is the cause of all the lack of peace within. See? And what are the things we collect, accumulate? All rubbish. If you go in your own houses, you must have purchased so many wall hangings, this thing, that thing. It is so beautiful. Good souvenir. Oh, it's wonderful. So you go on collecting everything. There is no place for you to move. This happened in one of the South Indian family. So many things in their house. I was staying with them, and when we were going, they have normally, that vibhuti for putting on the forehead in the bathroom. So after bath is over, they just put like that, and immediately pavitra, purified, and they come out and ready to go for work. That day there was no vibhuti kept in the bathroom near the mirror, and he came out. Hey, where did you put that thing? I want to put it. I have to go for my work. Shouting at the wife. Wife said, wait a minute, I'll find out and give you. I said, hey, don't scold your wife. Come, I'll give you. There was one piece, what do you call the discussion piece, some kind of statue or like that, I said, come here. I just did like this and lot of vibhuti dust. Put it on. You want some dust, is it not? It is available plenty. Take there. If that piece was not allowed to be bought, you don't require. Why you require so many things? Don't buy it. You don't have aesthetic sense of beauty. When it will be in the house, it will be so nice. And then nobody comes. Then you have to arrange the party so that people come and see. Oh, how much we are running after the pieces. And by then what we get is never peace. In Upanishad a mantra comes. Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmanaha nirveda mayat na asti akrutaha krutena tad vijnanartham gurume vavigachet samit panihi shrotriyam brahmanishtam. This mantra tells that we must sometime in our life stop, pause, and look behind what we have done till date in this life. Pariksha lokan, our own experiences. Take a pause. They say that revive to survive. Here there are boards. We keep on driving, and our tiredness becomes fatal ultimately. So we have been living through our life, running after this, running after that, people, places and projects, non-stop running. And then I am tired, I am fed up, I don't know why God has created this world, why government is like that. And we are continuously looking outside and suffering inside. See, friends. Therefore, here there is a very good message that pause for a moment, sit quiet, look behind. What we have done till date, write an account. See, we will come to know Nirveda Maya. We will come to know when we were not in this world, there was nothing lacking. When we will leave this world, there will be nothing lacking. Our presence in the present is not at all important. But we imagine, Konyasti Sadrusho Maya, because of me the world is moving. I am taking care of the whole world. See, one old man, one day he came and asked me this question. Swamiji, I have been listening to you for so many years and you know me. I come regularly for your talks. Last few months I am having a terrible fear in my mind. I said, oh, what can I do now? Tell me. See, the fear is about death. I said, don't fear, it will definitely come. No, not that. The fear is after I die, what will happen to my wife, my children, my property, my business? What will happen to that? I am worried about it. I said, instead of asking me, you go and ask them. Then they will tell, Papa, we are waiting. Go. Your problem is solved. What will happen to them? When I is not there, there cannot be my wife. One husband and wife, in the first year of their married life, one day the wife asked a question. Honey, if I die, hey, don't say that at all. I cannot take it. I'll become mad. No, but let me talk. Suppose I die. Don't say I say no, I'll become mad. He said, no, let me talk first. And then you say what you have to say. No, if I die, will you get married again? So he said, I won't get that mad. First madness I have done. I married you. I won't get that mad, I'll get mad again. And they continued living happily. After 10 years, again, she said, honey, do you remember? I had asked you that time. Did you change your mind? Suppose I die. Now this time he was, comfortable. Suppose I die. You said you will get mad. Yes, I'll get mad. But my question is the same. Will you get married again? Madman can do anything. See, we have these funny notions that we are searching for something which is within and we are running outside. See? Therefore, if we evaluate and analyze our own experiences, all those things for what we became so mad, to collect the things. What is our approach towards that? Today I was asking Manju, I said, Manju, you are in this beautiful house since how long? Swamiji, 2 years we are here. Beautiful. Our house is really beautiful. You can see 180 degree, complete sea. Such a beautiful place. So I said, when you came for the first time, what was your feeling about this beautiful place? Now after 2 years, I hardly go out. I am busy cooking and washing and teaching and then go to sleep. Not even recognizing that there is a sea around. Nothing in this world can attract our mind for long. See, friends. But this we don't recognize. We run only different places, different things, different people with a hope that we will get peace. So the basic equation is running after the pieces will never yield peace in life. But our whole life has been only this. And once we understand this, then what will happen? We will continue to live in the same world, but we will no more collect the garbage to be carried on our head. See? And when we don't carry garbage on our head, we are at peace with ourselves. I was telling Manju, we went for a walk, a story. I received one email. And story was a garbage truck and a taxi driver. That was the title of the story. And this taxi driver was going somewhere, and another person, a nice looking gentleman in his own car, he was going, and a taxi also was going. It was the fault of this man who was driving his car and not that of the taxi fellow. He dashed and little bit something happened to his car and to this taxi. Now this man lost his cool and started abusing the driver, taxi driver, and said everything and finally went away. So when this happened, this taxi driver was cool, and when he was going, he said, "Have a nice day." Now the passenger was telling, "How come you are so cool? You are not at fault. He, on the contrary, committed a mistake and he shouted at you, and you are so cool." So the taxi driver said, "It's a garbage truck." "What do you mean?" He said, "Whenever a garbage truck goes, they are searching for a place to dump. He must have started in the morning from his house with a garbage truck. And he wanted to empty somewhere. And I was the first place available. So he emptied. Now he is happy. Let him go." How beautiful it is. We collect inside exactly what we develop a habit of collecting outside. Friends, when we keep on accumulating the things in the outer world, that habit of accumulation, possession, doesn't remain outside, it goes inside. And when it goes inside, we accumulate friendship, enmity, regrets, vengeance, bitterness, arrogance. This is all accumulated inside. And this habit of accumulating the things outside also doesn't allow us to discard our old enmity. Nobody is bad throughout life. But we keep on accumulating that. And why this happens? Because outside we have developed that mind to accumulate the things. Empty yourself and see the joy of emptiness. This one day I discovered this principle which I am talking to you. I shifted from one place to another place. And I never do anything. Somebody did for me. So, pack my luggage, my books, everything. About must be 20-25 cartons of books. And they shifted to another place. And I hardly stay in one place more than 1 week. And there also I am very busy. So those cartons, etc., they remain packed for 3 years. I have no load on me. Books. One day I said, "Hey man, I am not going to get time to see what it is." So what is to be done? I shifted the whole lot of books and gave it to one library. Completely, everything give to library. And this only I did it. And I told somebody, I said, "Hey, you give to that library." I have already spoken to them. So they shifted it in a truck and gave it to them. I have done nothing. But I tell you, the joy I discovered, anything which is on our mind is a cause of disturbances and lack of peace. Empty your mind. To empty the mind, devalue the world. Whatever we have given value to the pieces of this world, that becomes the cause of lack of peace in our heart. And that is called as either addiction, that is called as disturbance, that is called as frustration, that is called as arrogance, that is called as a depression, that is called as no orientation in life. We are just living because we have no guts to die. There is no fulfillment in life. See, friends, therefore it is necessary to find out whenever we are disturbed. Now find out the cause of disturbance. Very simple, Swamiji. What great you are telling. If I am a husband, the cause of my disturbance is my wife. If I am a wife, the cause of my disturbance is my husband. If I am a mother, the cause of my disturbance is my children. If I am an officer, the cause of my disturbance is my subordinates. Where is the difficulty? Then this is what we have been always doing. Then next step, if I think that I am disturbed because of my husband, what will be my approach? Improve my husband. That species which cannot be improved is husband. One day, one boy was asking his father, Dad, when I am grown up, I want to become an intelligent husband. So the dad kept quiet. Again, Dad, you are not telling me. Mom always calls you dumb, but I don't want to be called as dumb by my wife. So I want to become an intelligent husband. Please tell me right now so I can make myself into an intelligent husband. Once, twice, thrice, finally the father said, Look here, you fool. There is nothing like intelligent husband in this world. Those who are intelligent, they never become husband. Understand? So you are trying to search for something which is not there. This is exactly what we do. We are searching happiness somewhere where it is not there. See, friends, all the happiness, the peace is within. So whenever we are disturbed because of something, instead of blaming that thing, find out what is the reason that we are disturbed because of something outside. See? And the reason is we have given value and importance to that thing, then alone that thing enters our mind and destroys our peace. See? Is anyone born with a cigarette packet in the hand and a lighter in another hand? Nobody is born. How do we start smoking? We look at other and then start imagining, smoking. These are different types of experiences, And then slowly, first we start smoking the cigarette, then the cigarette starts smoking us. Then we cannot go without smoking. How this smoking has come in our life? Has somebody told us? No. We have given value and importance to that thing. Anything which we give value and importance, that alone enters our heart, our mind. If we have devalued, nothing in this world has any freedom to enter our mind. See, if you can get this picture in front of you, when you are driving a car, in the screen in front of you, the glass, not only you can see what is outside, but also the reflection of the people, your own reflection or paper, something can be seen. Now that reflection which is seen on the glass, is that reflection in any way disturbing the glass? No. Exactly the same way. Mind has two aspects. One is the aspect of perception. Second is the aspect of projection. Perception followed by projection creates the disturbances in the mind. If we perceive and stop there, there cannot be any projection. If there is no projection, there cannot be any disturbance. And the disturbance is called as the desire. I see this picture. Oh, it is so good. It is so nice. It's available on sale. I think if I buy this and fix in my wall, it will become so good. If you just see that and get away, no problem. See, it's a very simple thing. Let us perceive this world, but let us arrest the habit of projection after perception. Normally, we react to everything in this world. Something is good, something is bad. Who has asked you? But we keep on doing it. And this habit of projection about everything, about every event, is the cause of disturbances in the mind. See? You know, we being Indian, we have got some special qualities. You know, this once in Europe, when I was there, my European friends, they asked me this question, Swamiji, you are Indian and none of us is Indian here. Can you tell us something specialities about Indians? I said, yes, note down. Number one, every Indian is a born philosopher. Second thing, every Indian is expert in somebody else's job, not his own. Third, every Indian has got a suggestion to everything and everybody. Fourth, every Indian can take a decision for you. Typical thing. So these are the habits of projection of the mind. We keep on projecting about everything. See? In our Indian families, you must have seen, there is a vigilance officer almost in every house. Who is vigilance officer? The old grandmother, grandfather, they are vigilance officers because 24 hours they are at home. Who is coming, who is going, and they are constantly watching. And then a daughter-in-law, come here. Yes. Today I have seen our daughter, this Choti, and last 3-4 days I am observing. She is standing near the window. What is the reason? Vigilance started. Then I think it is high time, get her married. All the problems are solved when you get somebody is married, because thereafter he dies. There was a girl, she asked her mother, she was reading a new, a novel, lost in the reading. And a girl came, Mom, is there any life? Come on, now don't ask me silly questions, okay? Don't you see mom is reading the book afterwards? But the child is child again. Finally, okay, what is your question? Mom, is there any life? Yes, there is life after death. No, Mom, that is not my question. Then, is there any life after marriage? See? So we are constantly getting lost in projecting after every perception. Live in this world in such a manner that enjoy every moment of your life. But do not allow any dents, any impressions to be formed on your mind. When experience is not allowed to precipitate in the form of an impression on the mind, that experience is an experience which is in the divine life. See? Take the food and enjoy and stop there, you are in meditation. take the food and oh, very nice. Where from you bring it? It is so nice. See, the other day we went in Sydney for a lunch to one of my friend's restaurant. Very good restaurant. So he called and we 3, 4, 5 of us we had lunch. And then we were going. I said, "Hey, listen. I am telling you the truth. Now these all other mothers are there. They are feeding me last 1 week. But even then I will tell you the truth. The food cooked at home has to be said that it is good. Otherwise you don't get next meal. So you have to say it is good. But the food in the hotel has to be good. Otherwise it cannot be sold again. Therefore your food was really good." I said, "Amma, anyway tomorrow I am going. So it doesn't matter." See? The moment we interact in the form of forming impressions on our mind, we get hooked up. Either in the form of attachment or in the form of resentment. Technically they are called as raga dvesha, likes and dislikes. Let no experience, let no interaction with anything or anybody result into the formation of like or a dislike on our mind. See? And see what our life is. I don't like a particular thing. For example, I don't like, let us take the eggplant. Now, why I don't like? No logic, no reason. See, one day I was talking somewhere, somebody's house I went, a young couple, and I saw the house. It was so terrible to look at, and then I just took some newspaper and read it. So that girl says, "Swamiji, we have seen what you are observing." I said, "Yes, thank you very much." "No, do you know why we have not painted our house? It was in such a terrible condition." "Do you know why?" I said, "I don't know. And I don't want to know also. As long as you give me something to eat, I go away." "No, we will like to tell you and take your advice." "What is that?" "See, I like," that girl was telling, "I like light cream color. And he likes light pink color. Now, how to decide?" And we have decided, we will do only that where both of us agree. So that there is no fight. And because of this, we could not paint our house. Now tell, what should we do? I said, I will give you a solution. It's such a simple thing. What is that? Give dark blood red color to your house. What? I said, wait a minute. Now you tell. Do you like it? No, I don't like it. Do you like it? No, I don't like it. See, you both agree. See, when we like something or we don't like something, has it any logic? Has it any reason? And is it not our whole life is only guided by the personal likes and dislikes, and we call ourselves to be very wise people, very educated people, very modern people, very prosperous people, but we are in fact the victims of our own likes and dislikes. And therefore, there is no peace within. See, friends, therefore, what is the technique by which we can, rather we have to interact with the pieces in the world, but there has to be a maintenance of peace within. How this is possible? Only one way. Interact in such a manner that do not collect likes or dislikes on your mind. Very simple thing. And to do this, there are two techniques. One is that we have no comments to offer on anything in this world. No comments. And second, and the most important thing, we must write off our rights on anybody in this world. We have no right on anybody. See how beautiful the life is. Suppose I imagine I have a right on Prashila. I have come all the way, she should do this, and she is unable to do it for whatever reason. Then all that she has done till date, it will be forgotten. And immediately, no time, she will become bad, and if she does something, then she is good. So our definition of good and bad is only this. When I like something, if it happens, it is good. If I don't like something, if it happens, it is bad. Net result is our likes and dislikes, they become deeper and deeper in our system. Contrary to that, let us have no right on anybody in this world. See how life becomes peaceful. In this manner, we interact outside, but our attention is on inside. When we go through any experience, there are three places where we can get stuck up. Either the field of experience, like I go and see a beautiful place, Brunei Island. Oh, how beautiful! That day when we went and we parked our car and one of our friends' house, we just put the things, and when we went backside, straight away there is sea. Aha! I don't think we should go anywhere. 3 days we can just be at peace here. First interaction. Then we put the things there and we had something to eat, and then we went and had nice drive here and there. Next day we went for that cruise, and when we came back, do we want to go again back to the same place? No, enough of sea. Now let us go from here. Our mind can never remain attracted to the same thing for a longer period of time. See? Nothing in this world can be repeated. Please remember this principle. The same thing you may do it twice, but you can never get the joy of what you had for the first time. Once I was going somewhere by car and on the seaside in India, and it was such a beautiful, like a movie, picture. So our car was going on a hillock like this, and about 10-15 miles, sea shore, beautiful place. So when we were going sunset, I told my friend, I said, hey, stop. He stopped. I got out, the sun, the reflection, and a straight line of the reflection, and there was a garland of birds flying toward the sun, and it was looking so beautiful. I just stood there till the birds slowly migrated and disappeared. It was as good as a deep meditation. So beautiful it was. After everything was over, next day again we had to go by the same route. So when we were going, the same sea, the same sun, the same my friend, the same car, the same me. When we went there, he stopped. I said, hey, why did you stop? No, yesterday you liked this thing. I said, it's over. Never try to imagine. If you repeat the same thing, you can never get the same happiness. It's only once. Therefore, let us recognize these aspects of the mind. And when we repeat it with a hope to get the same quantity or quality of happiness, it results in addiction. Then addiction doesn't give us happiness. Addiction gives us relief. What is that relief like? It is like relief of the scratching of an eczema itch. When you scratch the eczema itch, it is not painful, it is, beautiful. Enjoy, and the others are looking at your hand and you are bleeding. Hey man, stop that. What was happening? It was the joy of itching. exactly the same thing happens. Let us recognize interaction with the external world. If it is repeated again and again, becomes an addiction, and addiction makes us miserable. So, interact with the world, but keep the attention not on the world, but on the peace of mind. Where is our attention? In the 5th chapter of Gita, Bhagavan says, Yoginaha karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. We interact in the world in such a manner that our peace of mind is not compromised. He who becomes miserable because of anything or anybody is the fool of the highest order. See? And all our struggle is that, I am not doing it for myself, I am doing for his welfare, but he doesn't understand. Friends, everybody has got a right to be miserable. You can't stop somebody becoming miserable. So never try to make anybody happy. If somebody is miserable, provide facilities. No, but I want, you to be happy. Why? I want to be miserable. It's my choice. We belong to a democratic setup. Everybody has got right to be miserable. And second thing, you need not make anybody miserable. Why? Everybody is self-sufficient. You don't have to make somebody miserable. Therefore, keep your attention on the quality of your mind. So, yoginaha karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. So, we are interacting in the outer world. Our attention is not on the outer world. Our attention is on the quality of the mind, which was before the action was taken, during the action, and after the action is over. Is the mind remaining intact? See? Like before we go to sleep, our bed is perfect. And we go there and sleep. And when we sleep, some people sleep in such a manner that the whole bed, everything becomes, into a big lump. And when they come out, and after they come out, then it is necessary that you have to again make the bed. In the same manner, before we interact with anybody or anything, our peace of mind must be perfect. Then during the interaction also, it must not be an excitement, but it is the coolness of the mind that is necessary. And after the interaction is over, are we left with a fulfillment or frustration? See, once I was conducting a series of lecture for kids, children's camp, and they organized planned for 50 students, 9 to 12 years of age, small kids. But it so happened that 250 came. Naturally, all their calculations, all arrangements were completely gone. So when this happened, the youngsters who were organizing the camp, they started blaming it. See, I told you, but you never listened to me. You are always like that. Started. I said, hey, look here. Let us have a meeting before we start the camp. So I took them in one room. I said, hey, you tell me, what is the meaning of a successful camp? Oh, it is already successful. See, how many have come? Cool. You tell. No, we have got lot of money. They are very successful. So everybody has given their own way. They say, very good. So you know everything. No, Swamini, you tell. How do you define success? I said, I define success like this. Before we started our camp, during the camp, and after the camp, if our level of peace and happiness doesn't go down, and after the camp is over, we don't say, oh God, next time never please. If we don't say that, then our camp is successful. Friends, success is not evaluated in the pieces of the world. Success is in the peace within. See, friends, there are people who have got lots and lots of wealth and they are miserable. There are people who have got lots and lots of wealth and they are at peace. There are people who are poor, they are miserable. There are people who are poor, they are happy. So, availability of the external pieces, the prosperity, has nothing to do with your peace within. It is not the right thinking that prosperity makes us miserable. No. Our wrong interactions with the world is the main cause of lack of peace. In the second chapter, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Nasti buddhihi ayuktasya nachayuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayata shantihi ashantasya kutasukha. Ayuktasya buddhihi nasti. A person who is not well disciplined in his thinking, he cannot have correct understanding of life. Nasti buddhi ayuktasya. Ayuktasya, he was not properly disciplined in thinking. You know, we all know that we have to learn everything. Driving, we have to learn. Cooking, we have to learn. Gardening, we have to learn. Everything we have to learn. But when it comes to thinking, because there are thoughts in the mind, we imagine we are thinkers. Thinking is also a scientific art. See, take an example to make this point. When we were in this time, there are lots and lots of trees in the jungle. The jungle is a place where trees grow. And garden is a place where also trees grow. Like her house we have seen, she has got beautiful roses. So when you go to the jungle and when you go to the garden, what is the quality of experience? When you go to jungle, we are afraid. Let there be not some snakes or some wild animal and we don't know what will happen. We won't know where we are going. It is all chaos. But when we go to the garden, it is beautiful, peace, and you really like to spend more time there. Actually, both the places, it is only the plants and the trees which are growing. But what is the difference then? The difference is, in case of the jungle, there is no planning of any tree. Any tree can grow anywhere. There is no weeding out of the unwanted plants. There is no proper protection. There is no proper irrigation. It is left to the Prakriti, to the nature. Let it grow the way it grows. But when it comes to the garden, every plant is selected. Every plant is protected. Every plant is pruned. It is irrigated. It is manured. It is nurtured. And it is grown into a beautiful plant. Exactly the same way. Is our mind a jungle or it is a garden? If our mind is a jungle, there will be a chaos inside. Then we are afraid of our own mind. And when we are afraid of our own mind, we want to run away from our mind. Then what do? Either we keep ourselves so much occupied in this world that we don't want to face our own mind. You know, the real challenge in anybody's life is when you are all by yourself. There is nobody around you. You have to face your own mind. Then the real challenge comes. That time, then we want either a TV or a phone or a music thing. Why? Want to run away. It is a torture to be with one's own mind for a longer period of time. See, friends, the reason is it is a jungle. We don't know what kind of thoughts are coming. And to such an extent that we are afraid and ashamed of the quality of thoughts that come in our mind. The quantity is uncontrollable. Then we go to take pills, or we go and take the drinks. Means what? Now, under the influence of these various drugs, our mind is not allowed to think. And slowly, then we develop addiction. And such people, they are always in Shambhavi Mudra all the time. You know, in one of the Rotary Club's meetings, somewhere, I was called. I said, I cannot come for all the 3 days, I'll come on the last day. So on the last day I went. First 2 days they had a big crowd, about 3,000-4,000 people. And in that, you know, they were having their whatever discussion and drinking and parties and all that. So when I went there, after I finished my talk for about 20 minutes and 20 minutes question answer. So one of the Rotarian, he got up. I got a question, sir. Yes, please ask. Last night we had a spiritual party. Now you are a spiritual man. What is the difference between your spirituality and our spirituality? And all other fellows clapping. So the organizer says, Swamiji, don't bother. He is drunk. I said, no, I cannot. I have to honor him, whatever he is. He has asked a question. I am standing, I have to reply. You don't worry. Then I stood up. I said, your spirituality is living a hang-up today. My solid spirituality gives me a stand-up all the day. So whether you want a hang-up in life or a stand-up in life, whether you want to stand to all the challenges of life or you want to hang yourself all the time. See friends, thinking is to be learned. It will not come. Like gardens are not created naturally. They have to be planned. Every plant is planned. In the same manner, every thought in our mind must be properly educated, implanted, nurtured and grown. Then out of the same jungle, a beautiful garden is created. And when a garden is created, such beautiful gardens are called as the family units. And when all the family units have peace and understanding among the members of each family unit, the whole society is at peace. See friends, this is what is ultimately. If there is peace within, there cannot be disturbance without. A person who is at peace with himself or herself alone can be at peace with the whole world. A person who is not at peace with himself or herself cannot be at peace with the whole world. It is something like this, you know. See, God has created this world for fun. So, how there can be fun? When the opposites come together, then there is a fun. So what he does, he brings the man and they say, na, marriages are fixed in the heaven. So God knows who is who. So what he does, he brings two opposite people together. If the husband is a person who is very disciplined, very committed, very creative and very methodical, he gets a wife who is Jagadamba. Nothing disturbs her. Whatever is happening, who cares? She says, okay. And that lady, when she goes to the bedroom and on the bed, the moment she lands on the bed, she starts snoring. Krrr, krrr. And this methodical, systematic and disciplined husband suffers silently and becomes more and more angry. Isko kuch hota hi nahi. See, I am so much suffering and she is snoring away. Because God has to have fun. So he created these kind of opposites. Therefore they say marriages are fixed in the heaven. So a person who doesn't get the sleep, he becomes angry when somebody is sleeping comfortably. Exactly the same person. A person who is not at peace with himself, when he sees people like us, they become more angry. Once I was traveling in India from Howrah, Calcutta to Bombay, and summer days, terrible heat, and somewhere halfway, almost 40-50 kilometers, absolute jungle, and there was some accident on the railways. So the train stopped, our train was held, and in that jungle nothing is available. So whatever water people had, they finish it and all that. And nobody knows when it will start again, half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And I was sleeping there, then I also got down, and then I walked a little bit, and I was reading my book. So one person asked me, what do you do? I said, I do nothing, therefore I am Babaji. You people have nothing to do, and we are suffering here. Have I created this suffering? See? And then he said, see, I had to got the marriage of my daughter be done. We went there to buy the things we got. Now, and as if I am responsible for this accident, he became so annoyed and angry with me. You people have nothing to do. You are good for nothing. And we are the one. Then his daughter said, Papa, keep cool. What he has done, why you are shouting at him? Then to whom should I shout? A person who is not at peace with himself cannot see any peace around. A person who is at peace, ashantasya kuta sukham. He who is at peace, he alone can have happiness in life. Ashanta, he who is not at peace, can never be happy. So the first thing, nasti buddhihi ayuktasya. Unless we teach, train ourselves how to think properly, creatively, in such a manner that we do not become a victim of our own thoughts. Friends, many a times we are victim of our own thoughts. When we become the victim of our own thoughts, then it is called as worrying. Then it is a jungle. And when we think in such a manner that we come out of our own mental blocks by our own right thinking, then it is called as proper thinking. Normally we worry. Normally we blame. Normally we find out faults and try to fix the responsibility. If nobody is available, God is always available. Why God has created this world? Just to trouble you. See, friends. Therefore, nasti buddhihi ayuktasya. We have to be disciplined in our thinking process. Number one. Number two. Nachayuktasya bhavana. If we cannot understand anything, think properly, then find out a wise person wherever you are staying and take his guidance and live sincerely. Whatever is told, don't argue. It is not necessary that everybody is able to contemplate and think properly. Never mind. But there are wise people everywhere in this world. And therefore, go to them and don't discuss philosophy with them. Put your problem. You know, one day one person came and asked me this question. Young boy. Swamiji, what is wrong if somebody runs after girls? I said, nothing wrong. Nothing wrong? I said, no. Then why people say it is wrong? I said, let the people say why we should worry. Okay, bye. No, you are not answering my question. I said, okay, ask again. But what is wrong if somebody runs after the girls? I said, there is nothing wrong. If you don't run after the girls, then there is something wrong. But, do you want a company? I'll come with you. No, you are not. I said, look here, friend, this is not your question. Your question is that you are unable to concentrate in your studies. Your mind is running too much here and there, and therefore you are suffering, and therefore you want some solution, is it not? Probably this is what I want to ask. See, even we don't know what exactly is our problem. See, his problem was not running after girls. His problem was because of his inability to control his mind, he is not able to apply his mind to the studies, and therefore he was becoming miserable. See? Then I told him two conditions, no discussions and no argument. Agreed? Yes. I said, whenever you have a higher goal in life, lower things automatically drop. We don't have goal in life. We are living because we are not dying. That's all. See? If there is a higher goal in life, lower things can never trouble you. See, take for example, these girls who walk on the, the catwalk on the ramp, how much sacrifice they have to do, how much calories they are eating, how much exercise they are doing. They have a goal. So naturally, eating and becoming like a buffalo, it can never happen to them because they have a goal to be achieved. In the same manner, if we have a higher goal in life, lower things can never disturb us. So fix a goal of a higher altitude. Not a goal, that I want to eat and sleep. No, that is not a goal. That is a golmaal. Therefore, fix the higher goal and work for it day and night. See? There was one lady, Australian only, she came for a course with me for 1 year. 72. And I was so thrilled by her. She came and she didn't know one word about Sanskrit. Because she was always in Australia only. And when I used to teach Sanskrit to the students, it was all, Greek and Latin for her. So I had prepared some books wherein you can see and draw alphabets like that. So she took that. And in that Sanskrit class, I told her, Mama, you did not attend the class because it will be difficult for you. She said, okay, Swamiji, I am all right, don't worry. And I was so surprised. Within a period of a month or two, she has by-hearted all the alphabets correctly, writing, reading, and within a period of few months, she was able to read Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit at the age of 72. No complaint. She said, Swamiji, I am enjoying. Friends, this one big principle, please understand. Never stop the process of learning in your life if you want peace within. When you want to learn something, you have to fix a goal. And doesn't matter whether you use that or not, but at least you are occupied in a creative manner. Something or keep learning. Doesn't matter what you learn. See? Learn drawing or painting or computers or anything. You will be at peace and there is a great joy. See? So when I asked this lady, I said, Mama, you are learning this thing. What do you get? She says, Swamiji, I tell you, what is that? When I was able to read for the first time the original Bhagavad Gita shlok, I was so happy. I made it. See? This is how our attention is on peace within. Otherwise, complain and condemn and become frustrated. So we function in the world, our attention is on the peace of mind, not on the pieces. So from this moment also, if we change our approach to life, there will be a tremendous change. Then life will have a different meaning. See? And when we discover a different meaning for the life, then life is most beautiful. Then this process of learning never stops. We start learning from anything in this world. When we start learning from anything in this world, understand the grace of Guru is fully showered on us. Because Guru is not a person outside. Guru is the ability to learn from the experiences of the life when the mind is at peace. So a peaceful mind alone is our Guru, who can really help us grow spiritually and materially. Let us give it a try. नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चा भावयत शांति. And he who doesn't practice one of the two things, he can never have peace within himself. And ashantasya kuta sukham, a person who is at war with himself, how he can be at peace with himself? He can never be happy. Therefore, all those people who are criminals, terrorists, or who are depressed, they are their own enemies. They are at war with themselves. And therefore, they can never have happiness in their life. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.